In the ancient forests of Arcadia, where shadows stretched long and the whispers of gods mingled with the winds, there was a woman whose name would be remembered not for the power of gods or the will of kings, but for the swiftness of her feet and the fierceness of her heart. Her name was Atalanta, and her tale, like the flight of an arrow through the trees, was one of defiance, freedom, and the endless chase of destiny. Atalanta's story begins in the wilds, abandoned as an infant on the slopes of Mount Parthenian. Her father, the king, had hoped for a son, a strong heir to carry his legacy. But when a daughter was born, he left her to die, thinking the wilderness would claim her. Yet the fates had other plans for Atalanta. In those dense woods where mortals rarely tread, she was found and raised by a she-bear, nursed by the creature and protected as one of her own. It was in nature's embrace that Atalanta learned her first lessons: survival, strength, and the importance of freedom. As she grew, her speed became legendary. She could outrun any beast and was as skilled with a bow as the goddess Artemis herself. Unburdened by the expectations of a royal court, Atalanta chose a life on her terms, roaming the forests, hunting, and living as fiercely as the wild animals she ran with. Tales of her prowess spread through Greece, and soon Atalanta's name became synonymous with unmatched speed and untamed spirit. But her fate truly shifted during the hunt for the Calydonian Boar. This monstrous creature, sent by the angered goddess Artemis, ravaged the lands of Calydon, destroying crops and villages. A call went out for Greece's greatest heroes to join the hunt, and among the renowned warriors like Meleager, Theseus, and Jason, there stood Atalanta. Many scoffed at the idea of a woman joining the hunt, but Atalanta cared little for the opinions of men. She was there for the thrill of the chase and to prove, once again, that she was their equal, if not their better. It was Atalanta's arrow that struck the first blow against the boar, wounding the beast and slowing it enough for the rest of the hunters to close in. In the end, it was Meleager who delivered the killing strike, but he knew the truth. Without Atalanta, the beast would still roam free. Meleager, captivated by her beauty and skill, offered her the boar's hide, an honor that caused a stir among the other men who still couldn't accept that a woman had bested them. But Atalanta was no stranger to the arrogance of men, nor to the burdens that came with their admiration. Her victories brought not just glory, but also challenges. One such challenge would come in the form of her father, who, now seeing his daughter's fame, sought to reclaim her and marry her off to a worthy suitor. Yet Atalanta, ever the free spirit, was not willing to be bound by marriage. She agreed to wed only on one condition: the man must defeat her in a foot race. The penalty for losing? Death. Many men, driven by pride or blinded by desire, took up the challenge. But none could outrun Atalanta. Her feet flew like the wind, her body as swift and untouchable as the goddess herself. One by one, the suitors fell, losing not only the race but their lives. Atalanta's freedom remained hers, protected by her speed. However, one man, Hippomenes, was clever. He sought not just to win her hand, but to win her heart with a trick devised by the goddess Aphrodite. Hippomenes carried with him 3 golden apples, gifts from the goddess, which he dropped one by one during the race. Atalanta, curious and distracted by their beauty, bent to pick them up, and in those fleeting moments Hippomenes gained enough ground to win the race. Though she had been outwitted, there was no bitterness in Atalanta. She honored the agreement, marrying Hippomenes, though in doing so, she learned that even the swiftest cannot outrun fate forever. Their union, born of cunning and competition, would later incur the wrath of the gods, but that too was part of the unpredictable path the gods often laid before mortals. Atalanta's legacy was more than that of a warrior or a huntress. It was one of independence and defiance. In a world where women were often seen as prizes or pawns, Atalanta carved her own destiny, running as fast and as far as she could from the chains others sought to place on her. Hers was a story of strength, not just in body, but in spirit. The tale of a woman who could not be tamed, a figure who stood tall among the greatest heroes of Greece. And though the winds of time would carry her name into legend, the essence of Atalanta remains eternal, a figure forever racing through the myths of old, as untouchable and free as the wilds that raised her.